Welcome back. You just saw a little bit about what happened at last week's game here in Whitewater. I mean, it started off kind of intense, but I mean, the Warhawks really just took it and tore it apart.
Okay, sorry. And okay, like you mentioned, or like it has been mentioned, they came in with the 9th-ranked offense, and we had the 1st-ranked defense. So we knew it was going to be it was going to be an interesting matchup. But actually, the 33 points that we scored, which is kind of low for a Whitewater game, actually was the highest scoring for an opponent on Franklin this whole season. Despite their record, they lost 2, I think, in the regular season, but they did play a lot of very hard games. They actually played Mount Union, and they were beating them for a while, but eventually lost. But so just because their record wasn't that great, they actually had they had a hard competition that they played against. So that's basically, I mean, it was a very tough game for the Warhawks, but obviously
the score didn't show it.
Right. Well, and what we had talked about is that they went into halftime and there was kind of a struggle in the first half. And second half, Whitewater just exploded. They were able to tear down the Franklin College's defense, and the Warhawk defense was able to completely shut down Franklin College. Johnny West, their quarterback, one of the best passers in the league, couldn't get anything going. They couldn't get anything rushing. Completely stopped. So hopefully that kind of comes back to us for this game. But there's also stuff that they need to work on, and hopefully they did throughout this week that they had before this game, was their penalties and just kind of tightening everything up and getting a little bit more chemistry with the offense to get this game going.
Right, and that's a great point. There wasn't really much or many connections between Matt Barron, the Whitewater quarterback, and like we usually see, Jake Kumro. I mean, there were some opportunities there, but they were unfortunately missed opportunities. But going back to Franklin's quarterback and Kyle Linville, I mean, they've been said to be a dynamic duo for that Franklin team, and I don't think we saw their best potential last week.
I think our defense kind of recognized that, especially with all, they've seen the articles and they do their research on the other team, and that's kind of something that they were aware of, and they definitely shut that down too. One thing our defense did great, we had Brady Garibald had an amazing game, Luminette also, and with a punt block, and Ryan Cortez recovering it. So defensively, we're doing well, besides, like I said earlier, the penalties for illegal substitutions, which we had a lot. It cost a lot of yardage, and if we weren't able to make anything work on the offense, we may have been in more of a troubled situation throughout that game. So, especially
in the second half too. I mean, the penalties, I mean, if we can cut down on those penalties, I think there's going to be a lot of success for this Warhawk team come the rest of the postseason. And also, like you mentioned when we were talking about Kyle Linville and Johnny West, actually, like when you have a team like Whitewater and you have Matt Barron, he has multiple receivers, because you mentioned, like, he didn't really hit Jake Kumar as much as he used to, but he at least he has like 5 targets. He has a lot of options. Basically, over at Franklin, they have Johnny West and Kyle Linville. Like, that's about it. That's all they had. They couldn't get their running game going. But then again, we couldn't really get our running game going either. And actually, Coach Leipold even said that. Like, he basically just kind of said they were trying to shorten up the game on purpose. So it was kind of just a courtesy thing, especially towards the end of the second half. So. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking all about today's game here on Warhawk Sports Saturday.